Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Mary had big dreams too big for the farm to hold. Decided to go out east, needed that spotlight on the great white way to roam the city streets. So she drove her heart on. She drove her heart on. Oh, Mary, tell me, are you happy? Happy with the way things started to go? And Mary, Mary, you don't seem too much. Your fleece ain't white no more. Months flew by, and Mary was famous, crooning the tunes of love. Met the man of her dreams, and everything seemed to go better than she dreamed of. Till the day the man grew tired of her and found somebody else. Mary broke down and over him, 'cause knowing that she damn well lost herself. Damn Mary, the streets won. Damn Mary, the streets won. Oh, Mary, tell me, are you happy? Happy with the way things started to go? Mary, Mary, you don't seem too much. Your fleece ain't white no more. Oh, Mary, tell me, are you happy? Happy with the way things started to go? And Mary, Mary, you don't seem too much. Your fleece ain't white no more. Mary, where did you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where did you go? Mary, where did you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where did you go? Mary, where did you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Mary, where did you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Mary, tell me, are you happy? Happy with the way things started to go? And Mary, Mary, you don't see too much. Your fleece ain't white no more. Mary, tell me, are you happy? Happy with the way things started to go? Mary, Mary, you don't see too much. Your fleece ain't white no more.
Yes. All right, audience. If the song sounds familiar, well then good, because it should. You've been listening to Mary, Mary, a smack it up, flip it, rub it down remix of the nursery rhyme classic, sprinkled with a little black girl magic by experimental soul singer and songwriter Miss Olithea. The ride is B-side, and I am your guide, Queen GodIs. Give it up one more again for Miss Olithea. So we can tell from the sound of the audience what kind of night this is going to be. So, right on. Miss Olithea, this is our episode where I represent Queens. She was raised out in Brooklyn. Shout out to Far Rockaway, Queens, which is where you are from. We're going to talk about that and also the connection to Brooklyn. But before we go there, let us introduce this. I don't even know what to call y'all. I want to say a cornucopia of musicians. Let's start this way, and yeah, let's tell us who they are, where they're from.
Here on keys, we have Simone Acosta.
Hey, Simone.
Yeah.
Where you from, Simone?
From the Bronx.
She's from the Bronx. Y'all can't hear her. I just want to see how many boroughs are represented on this stage tonight. I think we might have them all covered. Let's go.
Then we have on bass, Mr. Ed Nivens.
Hi, Ed. Yes.
We got on drums, Compton Timberwolves.
Hey, Compton.
Yep. We got on keys, Jason Reese.
Hey, Jason. Wait, Jason, where are you from? We got the 2 Bronxes in the house so far.
So I'm originally a Long Islander.
Long Island. All right, we skipped over a borough.
Long Island.
I know. All right, let's go.
And we have Nate Vivacqua on guitar.
Hey, Nate. And last but certainly not least.
The ladies. We have Rachel Wharton
Hey, Rachel.
and Ambi Williams.
So, first of all, anybody, just raise your hand. Anybody from Staten Island? That's the borough that doesn't get. No. Okay. It's not my fault. I'm just saying. So we introduced, last but not least, these vocalists, AKA, and please forgive me if I get this wrong, because this is the worst thing to get wrong, especially on television, but is it Bitches Love Pitches? Is that correct? I didn't make it up. But
It's real.
before I go into the next question, let's test this out. Like, I don't know if this will come through. This is unprecedented. I would love for you to say the unofficial, official motto of Brooklyn, to do it in harmony as Bitches Love Pitches real quick, and to segue into the next question, which is spread love. It's the Brooklyn way, a courtesy of Notorious B.I.G. Can y'all just freestyle that as a harmony for me?
Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.
That was a pretty creepy version.
Yeah, what's dope? I will say this. That was a different kind of gangster. A different kind of gangster. You know, Brooklyn is known for many types of gangster, and that was, I think we've added that to the pot. So thank you. Let's go into the next song, but before we go into the next song, let's make that idea official. Finish the statement. Brooklyn is
Home.
okay. Home.
It's home.
Amen.
Amen.
She's from Queens, though. I just want to add that back in there. So with that answer, we may have made a few enemies, which is perfect for the next song. Give it up for Miss Olithea and the crew. The next song is called Enemy.
Your voice lives on. May you forever say your name. I'm missing. My mouth is bound so tightly, and I can't move, and I can't breathe. take a head start, try and run, but my legs won't work, and she knows why. How should I fight? How should I be the light? How should I fight? How should I be the light? How should I fight? How should I fight? How should I stay in the mirror? Whoa, looking for answers for ones we lost. Believe that they loved us. Always knew they hated us all. The land of the free, oh, the home of the depraved. America, spelled with 3 K's, oh yeah. How should I find? How should I be the light? How should I find? How should I be the light? How should I find? How should I find? How should I be the light? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leadeth me beside the water. He restoreth my soul. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. I fear no hatred, I fear no persecution, for thou art with me. Yeah. Oh, how should I fight? How should I be the light? How should I fight? How should I be the light? How should I fight? How should I be the light? How should I fight? The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want, not want. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. Yeah. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, yeah, I fear no evil. Trayvon Martin feels no evil. Sandra Bland fears no hatred. For thou, for thou, for thou, for thou. How should I fight? How should I be the light? How should I
Let us take a quick moment of silence.
Yes.
Okay. She gave y'all one song to get ready. And by the second song, if you wasn't ready, I don't know what to tell you. Wow. Okay. So yeah, no games here, no games. We acknowledge all of the names that are conjured in that song. We started the show with the song Mary, which, you know, had a light, playful mood in the first line, and then you took us where you needed to take us. And now we're here at this song called Enemy. I want you to tell us, name one Mary that came to mind for you, maybe someone with the actual name Mary, in addition to the Mary who had the little lamb, name one Mary that inspired that song for you, and then name an enemy.
Oh, Mary's me. I've been through that, you know, when you're young and you're dumb and you think you're in love and surprise, you're not.
Yeah.
One enemy, I mean, Donald Trump. He was the reason why I wrote that song. I was sitting in my living room after the election and kind of distraught because I teach, and to know that the future that the younger generation could have is terrifying. And it's something that I think as a woman of color and as people of color, we understand what that is, and then it feels like everyone else was, you know, decided to actually start looking with their eyes. And I just didn't know what to do. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out, how do I be the light? How do I fight? How am I an activist? How can I spread, you know, love, but also understanding and awareness to my existence as a Black woman? How do I do that, you know? It's something that I struggle with every day, and I think a lot of people do.
I ask this question because, yes, a lot of people struggle with it in so many different ways. And every day there's something new that is added to the pile of things that are causing dis-ease and disharmony. And to the point where a lot of people can't pinpoint who the Mary is, who the enemy is, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some people would argue maybe it's not necessary to pinpoint, and some people would argue in order to have effective change, it is important to be able to pinpoint these. So this song was about Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was sitting in the audience, we could find a way to make that happen. Say we took the song away, just give me one sentence that you would say straight to that representation of a lot of enemies for people.
Look what you've done, but we will continue to fight. Always and forever. That's all we know, is to fight. We've been oppressed, and we will always come through.
We will always come through. That's a long ass sentence, Donald.
I know. And another. No.
So let's shift gears. We try to give as little airtime to 45 as possible. There's so many other things to talk about. Let's talk about B-side. So I know for a fact that you have been in this room many times before you've actually stood on that stage. So many of your peers, people you've sung with, collaborated with, people who you love, have been on this stage. So it's only right that you are here on this stage. I want to give a shout out to your vision board. Give her vision board a round of applause. Is it safe to say that we can go home now and like put a check next to that?
Yes, I wrote it down in my journal. I made a few goals earlier this year, and I said, these are the things that I want to be able to do in 2018, and B-Sides is on it. It feels like a rite of passage, and I'm so excited to be here.
That's how special this show is. That's how special it is. Like, she literally, I know for a fact she's been in this room multiple times in the audience. I know the drummer has played with many artists on this very stage, and look at God, you know what I mean? Full circle moment. All right, so we're gonna go into the next song, which is called Anthem, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about your projects, including the most recent project that you put out. We're hearing some songs from that project. But before we go into the next song, we shouted out a little bit the drummer, which we're going to come back and talk to him about a little bit. We're going to talk to you about just your collaborative process, but we want to give a quick shout out. I would like for you to just say a quick shout out to PK. Who's PK?
PK is my mom.
Hey, mama. She's sitting right in the front row.
PK is my mommy.
This is Miss Olithea. We are here at B-Side, and the woman who made this moment possible is sitting in the front row. We're going into the next song called Anthem. Miss Olithea.
That's great.
Woke up this morning, just shining today. Woke up this this morning to shine today. Woke up this morning to shine today. Woke up this morning to shine today. Woke up this morning to shine. Of the night, the tears I have cried, have dried, I leave them all behind. My vision is clearer, my back's a little straighter, I'm walking in heads high today. So I say, breathe, stretch, shake, let it go, breathe, stretch, shake. Let it go, breathe, stretch, shake. I'm letting go. I'm letting go, breathe, stretch, shake. Let it go, breathe, stretch, shake. Let it go, breathe, stretch, shake. I'm letting being born anew taste so like honey, yeah. Final realizing that you were a fake. You can't come for me. No need to apologize. No need to explain my smile. From the ashes I come, yet still I rise. Dare to test me, just try. Some of y'all don't love your lives. Clutch of pearls, we taking them souls today. So I say, breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Breathe, stretch, shake. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Breathe, stretch, shake. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. No need to cater to you and what you like. I'm out here flexing, living my life. I'm bothered by you and what you like. I'm out here flexing, living my life. No need to cater to you and what you like. Oh, I'm out here flexing, living my life. I'm bothered by you and what you like, you like.
Wow. I feel like we need to take a moment of silence after every song. This is getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous, Miss Olithea. Oh, okay. Wow. I had a whole other set of questions before this moment, but let's jump to this moment. Let's go back to those questions. Let's talk about love. And I feel like when you open up your mouth, literally all of the love that must be behind you and in front of you, literally, and holding you up, it comes through your pores and out of your mouth. How has love fueled your journey? But specifically, how is love a form of activism, considering what's going on in the world around your journey?
I think love has granted me a freedom that I didn't know that I needed, that I didn't know I didn't have. And it has allowed me to stand firmly in who I am as a person, and to also be able to give that to other people. And I think that is a form of activism, because when you come in love first, I mean, it's like not wimpy, like, you know, I'll get you on sight, but it's just like, it's something of just being confident in who you are and knowing that you are you. Like, I am Olithea, and that's great. I don't have to be anybody else. There's a security in that that I don't take for granted, and I hold very close to me.
And that's its own kind of sword. The kind of sword that you actually don't have to put a whole lot of extra muscle into.
No, it's just
it
like
just slays things when you walk by, you know?
Yeah.
I am Miss Olithea, and that's great. That could possibly be the title of the next album. But let's talk about the first two. The first album was called let me get this. I got it. I'm a cheat. Long Day's Journey. Oh. And the second, the most recent, is To Be Seen and Heard. So the first song, speaking of breathe, shake, let it go. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Remember that, audience. We need that. You said that the first album, Long Day's Journey, was about shedding.
Yes.
And then you transitioned to the next album, which is To Be Seen and Heard, which you've said is you wanted to go a little bit deeper. Since you were able to shed, you're able to go a little bit deeper.
Yes.
And it's a love letter specifically to Black women. Tell us a little bit about the arc of those two albums and the songs that we're hearing from this project.
Well, Mary, the first song I did, was from Long Day's Journey. And that was my first EP ever. I did musical theater for a lot of my life. I did classical. And I was starting to feel jaded about the process of auditioning and just hearing thank you. And, you know, with the guide of friends and just being like, I need the control. I want to be in control of my own journey. I don't want anybody to tell me no. I want to tell me no. And that just blossomed into writing, which I have always done since I was about 13, but I just shied away from it. It was insecurity that did that. And Long Day's Journey was definitely testing the waters and see what worked and see what didn't. And it was a learning curve. I learned so much. And then we got to Be Seen and Heard, which is a love letter to Black women, because I believe that our narrative is always taken from us. And we don't always get a chance to speak our minds and our hearts, or it's exploited for corporate gain or for whiteness. And I think it's so important, especially now, that our voices are heard and that we're the people that are saying it and not anybody else.
Finish the statement. We hear it a lot on this show, especially when I'm hosting. I say it a lot. It's relevant, and I think it's ripe for good conversation. Black girl magic is
complicated.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Because it triggers a lot of things, good and wounded in a lot of people.
Right.
Because for many people, they think it sounds exclusive, or maybe it's even said to be a little bit overdone in this generation of hashtags. But why it is complicated, and I would add that it's also timeless. What is the significance of it for those who don't understand, who feel like it may be more exclusionary than it should be? What is your testimony with that phrase?
Well, I mean, Black Girl Magic to me means that when I get up and the breath of life flows through my body, I know that I am here and that I have a purpose, and that my purpose is mine, and that I have something to say, and my skin is popping.
Hey.
I mean, being a Black woman, there's a power undeniable, and I will scream it from the top of the mountain that being a Black woman is power, it's strength, it's courage, it's love, it's sexy, it's everything. Just like, you know, I can see a Black woman walk down the street and I'm like, hey girl. It's that unknown, like unwritten language that you have with another Black woman. It's beautiful, and it's something that I hold very close and that I want to protect for the rest of my life.
And it's not easy.
No, it's trying at times, it's painful at times, it's repetitive at times, it can be very, very difficult, but I think that anytime I explain it, though it's tiring, I get stronger in my purpose, I get stronger in saying, you know, I deserve to be here. I am supposed to be here. You will listen to me, and I will not stop talking.
And this is the message of To Be Seen in Her. So for those of you who are like, how can I find more of her work? We've warned you of what you're going to walk into, so go ahead and get smacked in the face in a good way. Full of Black Girl Magic in a way that I think can also connect with a lot of people, because Black Girl Magic is also universal. Speaking of Black Girl Magic and how it comes from a place of declaring to be seen and heard in a world that tries to erase, neglect, remix, whitewash, the list goes on. We're gonna go into the next song, and I'm curious to see what the relationship between this song and that concept is of being seen and heard. Let's talk about Holly the Hologram.
Yes.
Give it up for Miss Olithea.
Take my not gonna rush the stroke. I'm gonna take my time. She gon' get hers before I. Sensual seduction, sensual seduction, sensual seduction, yeah, I'm sensually seducing you. Sensual seduction, sensual seduction, Instagram, boomeranging. Valencia looks good on you. She's alright, but she's not real. She's alright, no time to feel. Holly. She's alright, but she's not real. She's alright, no time to feel. Holly the hologram. As envious as I am, her mansion free, so late, that's how she pays her rent. When you all alone at night, sis, do you still like you savage, but you still a human too. People so thirsty to see what that booty do. Who mad though, twerk slow, then inspire with a dead man's quote. Oh, she's alright, but she's not real. She's alright, no time to feel. She's alright, but she's not real. She's alright, no time to feel Holly. Holly. Holly the hologram, the toast of Instagram. Holly the hologram, Holly. Holly the hologram, the toast of Instagram. Holly the hologram, Holly. Holly the hologram, the toast of Instagram. Holly the hologram, Holly. One more time. Holly the hologram, the toast of Instagram. Holly the hologram, Holly. Holly. Do you still like you, Holly? Do you care if we do? This ain't real. This ain't real. Oh, you're human, Holly. Where's the human Holly?
I'm laughing because I just, to have this firsthand experience of what it is like to be an audience member at your show, it's like, should I think or should I twerk? Should I twerk? and I'm very clear that you are, she was raised out in Queens, and tonight we're raising the roof in Brooklyn. Let me tell you what happens when you bring the two boroughs together. You do both. You think and you twerk. Kind of cosmic church.
Yes.
Where you say hallelujah and ow at the same time. So for those of you who are like confused, just do both.
Just do both.
Just do both. Okay. Holly and Mary, are they homies?
You know what? They sure are. Holly is the Mary who hasn't evolved and found social media, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I can find peace there. I can find love there. And I think what's interesting about Holly is that we all do.
We all
are Holly in some way.
I'm Holly on hiatus. I haven't quite logged in very much.
Holly
There's that
sometimes
Holly.
you take a break. So it's like it comes from, insecurity, my jealousy, but me also, thirst trapping,
Yes.
like it's all part of the culture that we live in. And it's like we have to remember that we're still human, we're still people. At the end of the day, like you have to still love you. That like is fun for a moment, and everybody gets a rush. Like it's cool, like there's no judgment there. But when that is done and you go in bed at night, how are you, recouping yourself? How are you finding love for yourself?
Well, I can say that we've definitely found a full circle moment, courtesy of Auntie Oprah. Thank you very, very, very much. We were talking about Black Girl Magic, and your word was complicated. And I think Holly the hologram, Mary, and then Maxine Waters, Michelle Obama, like all of the lists, I think all of these are together as one. Like there's no binaries with Black Girl Magic, like it's all in there. The women who find their sense of power in front of phone screen and the likes that they get, and then maybe that is not the most authentic, but then it does lead them to, perhaps it can lead them a place of confidence that they may not have had before. So it's complicated.
It's very complicated. But still, I mean, you know, you gotta have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
It's okay to have
Well, speaking
fun.
of fun, let's talk about something simple. What is the most simple part of your day that brings you so much joy and harmony, or it's the go-to place when you feel like you need to decompress from the weight of the world, from the tug of war between the thinking and the twerking? People need to know.
I mean, I do consider myself an intellectual twerker.
Yes.
So that's a real thing. I think listening to a podcast on the train, something that takes me outside of myself. And I can't always listen to music. I think it's so embedded in my life and everything that I do that instead of like enjoying music, it comes into deconstructing music. It's like, oh, that bass line was good. Why didn't I think of that? Or like, oh, why didn't I, you know, so I have to shut it off. But talking,
podcasts give you that moment, like just,
yeah, just like talking and listening to mess, or I love like The Daily is one of my favorites from the New York Times. I love The Read because that's just ratchet and
hilarious.
Ridiculous. And it's just like, it kind of takes me outside of my self.
And B-Side also has a podcast. There's definitely music involved, but we got the word podcast in there, so it kind of applies. If I was not doing this, I know that you are an educator. We dropped a little bit of hints about that. I know you have a project called Educated Little Monsters, which is so hilarious and very accurate, I'm sure, in the most awesome way. And also, I heard from a little bird that you are a paraprofessional.
I was, yeah, for a few years. I worked in schools.
When you were 5 years old and someone came upon you and was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say?
Well, I wanted to be a lot of things, and the list is, I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a judge. I wanted to be a chef.
Wait, we have to do an air high five on that one.
Hey, I don't know why. I was like really firm into the law. I don't know.
I have theories.
And I wanted to be Christy Yamaguchi, a figure skater. So I wanted to be a lot of things.
Yes. Okay, and so when you are 85 and a half years old, and you're talking to somebody's grandchildren, yours or somebody's, they're around at your feet, and they're going to say, what were you?
I hope to say that I made 5-year-old Olithea very happy, and I was a singer. And hopefully I'm still singing in some capacity. Maybe a little off tune, but still singing or performing and creative. I was an artist. I was a creative.
In that lies so many possibilities to be all of those things, because I'm clear that we're listening to songs that are reading people their rights, telling them whether they are guilty or whether they get to go free. Like, you are banging the gavel down on some of these songs. I'm very clear that these songs actually, they more than music, it sounds like a Brooklyn opera in the best way. Like, there's so much layers to it and story and, like, you know, like I said, cosmic church. Give it up one more time for Miss Olithea. We're going to go into the song. I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to just call it out. 81712. Is that right?
Yep.
81712. I'm curious to know what that's about. Miss Olithea.
You closed your eyes, took your last breath, and you took some of mine. Pretended I expected it, shaved my head, look, I'm fine. Didn't stop the dreams, you screaming, where are my eyes? I long for you, afraid I still mourn you to wipe your tears away. You're okay. You asked me to watch over Jay, well, at least I've tried. But watching Jay chase your ghost, it kills me inside. Without Jay, there'd be no hope. I'd give my life. or hell, which is home for you. I can't decide. I long for you. Afraid I still mourn you to wipe your tears away. You're okay. 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 Wipe those tears away. Ah, your smile seems foreign. I look forward. I can't take it. Afraid I never find it. I love you, didn't tell it to you. Wish I told you while here. I long for you. Afraid I still mourn you to wipe your tears away. You're okay. I long for you. Afraid I still mourn you too.
All right, everybody, let's do this. Open those hands wide and wrap them around yourself. On August 17th, 2012, something happened that clearly moved things and is still moving people in this room. Do you want to share?
My dad passed away, and it was something that he had been sick for a very long time. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna cry on
It's
TV.
okay. It's okay.
And it took me a very long time to write him a song, but his passing propelled me into songwriting, because in a moment of my deepest despair, I started to sing and started to write. And
this is
yeah.
really serendipitous because I actually wanted to have another full circle moment and have you do a shout out for your dad, because I've also heard from a bird that there is this special recognition, relationship, revelation there between you and him. And so this is perfect. He's wherever he is.
wherever he is.
Everywhere that he is.
Everywhere that he is.
He's listening, I'm clear, I'm sure. If you could give him one word or one message today, what would it be?
Daddy, I'm good.
Yeah. She's great, actually.
I'm good.
Give it up if she's great. I know that he's proud, and this is a special moment for me because my father passed away as well in the midst of me working on my first album.
Oh my
And
gosh.
every time that I would see him when he was in between doctor's visits, he'd be like, is it finished yet? Is it finished yet? And so I was on this mad dash to try to
Yeah.
complete it before anything happened, and I didn't get it done. But I can say on the other side of that, people on earth will claim that they're your biggest fans. There is no bigger fan than the one that now gets to be beyond body, and I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for those that presence. All right, let's shift gears a little bit because I feel like the audience, we could use a little boost.
Yeah,
Mama
my
PK,
bad.
you all right? You're all right. All right. I'm gonna call out some words. Let's do a lightning round, and I just
Okay.
want you to share with me the first thought that comes to mind.
Okay.
Cool? All right, you ready? All right, the first one is SZA.
Great.
Great. The next one is. And there you have it. Let's talk about the next one is voice.
Everything.
Everything. You do have a special relationship with the voice, including I saw a quote that you started to teach some newbie singers how to sing, and it brought up a complicated moment where you felt like you had to question whether or not you're good enough. Like
Yeah.
whenever you put yourself as an artist in the role of being an educator, which many of us have been, not everybody should be, but many of us have been, it really sharpens you. Sometimes people think that the young people are getting a lot from you, but we also get a lot from them.
Yes.
So let's talk about what, I'm gonna throw another word out there, confidence.
There's some days.
There are some days. Yeah, and it required all of those words, not just one, because it's complicated. Kiki.
Who?
Kiki, do you love me? I had to throw that in there. You haven't been doing that dance? No? Okay. But I'm pretty sure that if we asked her, Kiki would say that she loved you without a question. Serena Williams.
Oh, Queen.
Yeah, oh, Queen.
Queen.
Yeah, like phenomenal story.
Yeah.
But it's not my game. I'm not supposed to be answering. Travel.
I want to do it so bad.
Okay, that also required a lot of words. Let's go back to the one-word replies just to see for fun. Let's see. The Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah. Really? Wow. I did ask for a one word, didn't I? That was my fault, my bad. And let's do two more. Russia. Don't even get a word. And Solange. Yeah, and then we got some sound effects. Yeah, we did the whole range. I want to do another quick shout out right now. We don't normally try to shout out too many performances coming up because the show airs live, but then it airs, you know, and people might watch it after the event has already happened. But I actually have to, so producer, I hope this is okay with you. You are going to be having a performance of a lifetime. I feel like it's a big deal on July 21st at National Sawdust. Sorry if you're watching this and it's past. The reason why I want to shout this out because it really is the essence of what B-side is. Many of the artists on that bill have actually been on this stage. I've interviewed them, or actually, so it's Melanie Charles who has hosted B-side, Taylor Simone from Jezebel who was on B-side, you who now can check this off of your vision board, and then Star Busby who I've seen who's absolutely phenomenal. I don't think she's been on B-side yet, but B-side coming to a B-side near you. Talk about collaboration and why that moment of this particular event in Brooklyn is such a big deal.
I have been performing for a very long time through all the circuits of different bills. So when you go to a venue, there's a promoter who puts together a bill, and a lot of times they get very lazy, and the bill will have an R&B singer, a rock band, a jazz band, country, and then a singer-songwriter who's very quiet and whispers into the microphone. It's just a mishmash. And I wanted, after a few gigs ago, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's very strange. They run behind. So I'm a bit of a control freak. And I said, I want to take
Black Girl Magic,
yes.
part is in there.
I want to do something where I have a little bit more control and I can curate a bill. And I know so many fantastic artists. Why don't I start? And I humbly asked all these ladies who are fantastic, fantastic performers. I'm such a huge fan of all of them.
And you did state why they are all on your social media, why they are all a big deal for those who have even, for whatever reason, a question about it. Why are you, let's go into the last song, which is called 4C, which for those of you who don't know, I don't know if I'm gonna keep this as an insider, but I just wanna give you a hint. 4C is the other side of Black Girl Magic, which is basically the gamut of Black girl hair. I mean, it's in the gamut of Black girl hair. So yeah, you can go ahead and kind of sit with that on your own time. Why are you a big deal?
Oh, this is the hardest question that I had all night. I am a big deal because I fight every day to exist. I have made a dream of singing into reality, and there are days when it is not glamorous, most days it's not glamorous, and that's very hard, but there is power in that I can still power through and make it happen with a lot of grit and a lot of fight, but I somehow come out on the other side.
Finesse. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of those women. Shout out to Mama PK. Shout out to Bashan. Shout out to all the artists listening. Shout out to all the artists who've been on this stage. Shout out to you, Compton Timberwolf, who's another part of this whole beautiful, the cornucopia of musicians. Shout out to your pop. I am enough. You are enough. Enough is enough, and so it is. Thank you, Miss Olithea, who evidently came to slay with y'all and not play with y'all. We are grateful for your music, your magic, and fierce message, defying chords and categories. And speaking of defying, if you haven't had enough of this Songbird's flyness, you can check out this and past episodes of B-Side, ranging from synth to soul and art pop to alt rock on our Nonstop channel by visiting youtube.com/BRIC TV. or our podcast at soundcloud.com/bsidepodcast, or just come on by the studio and get your dose up close. I am your host, Queen GodIs, hoping your summer has as much flow as our show, because we be bringing y'all all of this heat with a whole lot more cool to go. We love you, Brooklyn. Till next time.
Goes da do dee dum dow,
Dum dee dum dow,
da dee da dee da dee da dow,
da dee da dee da dee da dow,
da do dee dum dow,
da dum dee dum dow,
da dee da dee da dee da dow.
da dee da dee
Ooh,
da
you guys
dee
are good.
da
Da do dee dum dow,
da dum dee dum dow,
da dee da dee da dee da dow,
da dee da dee da dee da dow,
da do dee dum dow,
da dum dee dum dow,
da dee da dee da dee da dow.
da dee da dee da dee da dow.
Aaron said, listen to Sade, sip on a Cabernet. Take the scissors, snip away the lies you told since night. Transition you tried to, then 3 A's they lied to you. Time to start anew, and Bill ain't here to stop you. Reluctant, she helped you, not hesitant to tell you that she loves you, but your hair's her pride and joy. But Bill up and left you, so snip goes the scissors. The lies drop one by one, the truth can feel the sun foresee. Shake on you till noon. You may break a pick or two. How I love you, adore you, foresee. They lie with lie on you. Wild abandon, dare I tame you? May you wait forever, ever. My afro inspires you, Bantus they sun you, my Marleys excite you, your amazement's asinine. I curl just to please you, I perm to appease you, I broke ends to build you, my mind is now aligned. Foresee, shade comes you till noon. You may break a pick or two. I love you, adore you, foresee. They lie with lie on you. Wild abandon, dare I tame you? May you reign forever, ever. Almost change you, burn edges to tame you. Every 6 weeks to thin you, forgetting that I'm such stuff dreams are made on, and life is formed from. Dare to believe that I am enough. You are enough. Foresee, shade comes you till noon. You may break a pick or two.